I do think it's important to hear from General Milley. You know, there is civilian control, but there's also way more to this story. And I think instead of jumping to saying things like he needs to resign, he needs fired, based on a leak excerpt of a book, when there's more people with more information, I think we need to take a potato, get the full answers before we start jumping to making it political. Because everything nowadays is tribal. This is particularly is something that doesn't need to be. Obviously the soundbite that came out of the book is concerning, but as indications I'm getting is there is a lot more to this story. And that's why I think it's important, you know, for the January 6th committee to deal with it. It's related to that. And so I look forward to it. We are committed to getting this done as quickly but thoroughly as possible. So I think it's still going to take a while. And I think, you know, people will see progress as how many hearings we have, but that's really secondary to what's happening. So I consider like the iceberg. The hearings is like what you're going to see. It's a little bit of the iceberg. Most of it's what's going to be happening underneath the surface. So, but there will be hearings, and there'll be some hearings on maybe, you know, people that have been radicalized that turned against that, you know, those kinds of things to bring a little flavor to the American people about the seriousness of this. It's important to recognize that there's going to be a lot of people that try to resist, and we may as well start that process now, start that clock now, and not let them resist any further.
So what are you expecting to accomplish that?
You know, for me though, honestly, it's been a very peaceful moment. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but I also know that there are going to be moments in your life where if you don't do what you think is right, you'll have that regret forever. And given that there's really only two of us speaking out at this moment as aggressively as we are, you recognize the role and the fact that history can be on your shoulders. So my personal experience has been, yeah, there's days of stress, days of sadness, you know, because you lose friends. But all in all, I'd say it's been a positive experience. And, you know, I just hope we can get the right answers from American people. You know, with some of my colleagues, it can be tense. You feel like you're right on the edge of them making a snide comment. You make it uncomfortable for them. I mean, every time they have an interview with the media, or every time they go in front of a town hall, you know, they're going to be asked the questions, why aren't you doing what Adam and Liz do, right? And so I recognize it makes it hard for them. For the most part, though, I think they understand. They understand that I'm not doing this for fame or fortune. I'm doing it just a real passion. I think there's respect for that. And then I certainly get a lot of people that come up to me and say they appreciate what I'm saying and doing. And of course, they say, I just can't because I'm in such a Republican district. I remind them that I'm also in a very Republican district.